Hello, I'm Jacob, and I'm having this weird problem with my code. I'm trying to make a game of 2048 in order to test it with a neural network, but first I'm getting this weird problem that I can only describe as an immutability problem. So let me give it just a little bit of background. This is the tile constructor. A tile is each one of these, and it can have a value, and it has a few actions associated with it. And there's also a game board. There's just this whole board which contains an array of tiles, which I call the grid. And it has a bunch of actions as well, including this .action. First, I create a new game board, which I call new game, and then I print it out just to make sure everything's working. There's a bunch of troubleshooting steps. Then I have key pressed, which tells whether or not you're clicking up, right, left, or down. And then I have execute the action associated with it. An action takes an object as an argument with a direction. So right is right, up is up, left is left, down is down. So if we go to game board and we go to this .action, I take the grid at the moment, how it is now, and then I send that to a function I call update board state with another object where I send it the direction I specify in the execution, and then this .grid, which is the current grid state when this is executed, and I call that array. So now we go back up to update board state, which is here. So we have options, and then I'm just spitting out the options. I assign it to a constant, which I log. Then I send a bunch of states. I transpose the array first so that I can capture the left and the right and the up and the down in the same bit of code. But basically what I'm finding is you have all these constants, right? So they shouldn't be changing because they're constants. And then I have, I basically run it through an assignment to chosen state. So I can just use the one variable rather than having to say, if this, then run this again, etc. But basically I make it an object with a property state, which is the current state, or the reverse current state, or inverse reverse state, which is all the relevant manipulations of the matrix in order to make it run with one bit of code along with the directions, right? Because if you're going left, then you make up this way in left, but left is also left. I don't think that makes any sense, but then down is right and right is also right, which are basically just the inverse columns. Anyway, I console.log all of these. And now let's just run it, see what happens. I'm going to click left on my keyboard. Or actually, I'm going to click up instead because it's more illustrative for some reason. Okay, so let's go to over here. We have 283. So 283 is this one, which is just the game board as it's created. So let's go and open that up. And this is very strange. Let me go and reload this. And now if I click on 283 here right now, the tiles, the grid, has an array of tiles. And it's exactly the way it should be. If you go to 0, 1. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 1, 0. We get a value of 2. Right? If I reload this, and the 2's in the new spot, and we go to 2, 3, we're going to have a value of 2 as well. So that's working fine, and it always works. However, when I click up, as I should, notice that this suddenly changes to undefined. So it's like this is changing itself, and I'm not quite sure why. But clearly something's being assigned to grid, this dot grid, even though I don't think it should be. Right, because we say this dot grid, and then we say update board state, which doesn't change this dot grid at all. If we go up to update board state, right, I just assigned a constant, which is equal to this, and constants can never change, and the rest of this stuff, I'm not changing, I'm changing chosen state. I'm not changing ever. And at the very end, I return the output, which I only assign to a variable. Right here, I assigned it to updated board state, which then I console.log. So I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to upload this to GitHub probably, but like I think I should rewrite all this code basically with an immutable library, and maybe that would work. Thanks to the Slack Rostal that gave me this suggestion. Working with transpose, I wrote this convoluted retile transpose, which is I take it and I assign it to a working array, which so I can turn it into a tensor, so that I can use tensor.transpose for the immutability problem that I was having. And then he suggested that I just do something simple like this, which is, I don't even understand this, but so this works great. Like we can test it here, but it works great. But it didn't solve my immutability problem, which was also present here, I think. So I don't think it really, like it wasn't a problem with the tensors and everything. I think this is an improvement anyway, but I'm still having an immutability problem, which I can't explain. And it's frustrating, and I think I'm just going to have to stop working on this because it doesn't make any sense to me. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments, or if you're watching this through Slack. Thanks again.